Fortnite Star Wars season is failing. Like, here's the player count on Chapter 6 launch, then Season 2, and now we're seeing 50% players less. Today, I want to learn why. From items being useless to an exhaustion of collabs, we'll break down everything roasted this season and give it a valid or not. Like, some things in Fortnite just don't make sense. Throw a shield bubble down to protect yourself and you'll get obliterated by X-Wings. But when Godzilla laser beams you, you're perfectly safe. I don't know why Fortnite kept this around if they're gonna let this happen. And everyone was super excited when Epic randomly announced General Grievous was in Season 3. Nobody saw this coming and we were super hyped, only to realize he was a secret skin. Alright, I mean that's fine, we can wait it out. At least we'll get to fight him on the map. Right? Well, turns out Epic literally added him on this random mountain, and he's not even a boss you could fight. Instead, you're just handing him lightsabers to add to his collection, so fans wish it was just a little bit more exciting. But I'm still holding out hope they'll turn him into a boss when his skin releases. Now, his skin also comes with a wrap, but it's completely pointless. We all know that the loot pool is blasters only, but this also means that every gun can no longer use wraps. They all have unique models and skins which don't change no matter what, so every wrap in your collection is worthless this season. Like, you can't even use the new ones in the past until it's over. But I don't think there's any way Fortnite could save the most hated music pack of all time. In the Battle Pass, they threw in an original song called Where My Wookiees At.
What?
There are so many amazing songs that Epic has created, so when you see them dropping this in the past, you know they made it bad on purpose. And while some fans are laughing at it, others love how crazy it is. When I asked you guys what is missing from this season, I saw a ton of you request an item that feels like the biggest missed opportunity. We logged in and noticed Fortnite had vaulted all of the motorbikes on the island, which sucks because they could have cashed in on something even more insane: speeder bikes. Think about it. Imagine getting around on these things compared to jumping in the same cars we've had for multiple chapters. In fact, you guys all agree that Fortnite should have replaced cars with exclusive Star Wars vehicles. The only problem is now that SUV and sports car skins exist, we will never have a season without them again, because then we just complain we can't use the cosmetics we bought. There is no explanation for the single biggest problem with Star Wars. After 8 years of asking and half a dozen Star Wars events, we now finally have an entire season dedicated to it, and yet Fortnite still has not added lightsaber pickaxes. Obviously, I was gonna talk about this because the entire community is fed up. For most of us, this was the final chance for Epic to add these, and the fact they didn't makes us think it is clearly not their decision at this point. Something is stopping them from releasing the most anticipated cosmetic of all time, and I'm guessing it has to do with Disney's rules. They couldn't even add Darth Vader into the game without making him kneel instead of dying, so Disney must have some crazy restrictions on lightsabers, and that's probably why we'll never get them. Instead, we're doomed to get items like this for the rest of eternity. Yeah, it's a Death Star on a stick. You would think after years of laughing at Epic giving us ridiculous pickaxes, they would at least come up with clever ways to work around it. But no, they're still just gonna get clowned by the players. People have even started to draw fan art of this thing as a goofy lollipop. Not only are they refusing to give us lightsaber pickaxes, but they won't even make them in emote. Mace Windu arrived this season, and while most people made fun of his pickaxe, calling it the Windu Whacker, we at least got a lightsaber in the emote, right? Well, turns out a closer look at the icon reveals it's a sword, so he was training with this. I mean, come on, Fortnite, a stick? He's a Jedi Master. Now, there are some things that Epic are trying to learn their lesson from. Remember UFOs and how powerful they were? Or even Stormwings? They don't have the greatest reputation when adding ships, so when they decided to make X-Wings and TIE Fighters, they were very, very careful. Problem is, now fans are disappointed because these things are super weak. In fact, within a few hours, Epic had already nerfed their damage, and it's insanely easy to shoot them down. Thanks to people having unlimited ammo, they could just blast ships out of the sky without thinking about it. In the previous chapters, we'd have to make sure we didn't waste our ammo shooting at UFOs, but now you could just spray and pray. Some fans want Epic to give them more health, but I'd say that's very controversial. What side do you lean on? The other thing that they want is more X-Wings and TIE Fighters on the map. Right now, they're pretty hard to find if someone else got them before you. And if we had more of these flying around, the dogfights would be more common, and that would be really cool. But right now, with how weak they are, and hard to find, hardly anyone is wasting their time looking for one. It's just not worth it. Here's a problem that Epic didn't even think about. Obviously, with blasters taking over the whole season, Fortnite had to remove ammo boxes. But these didn't just contain ammunition. People opened these because they had guaranteed minis inside, and now they're gone. a lot of people are struggling to find quick heals now more than ever. And of course, that leads me to one of the biggest criticisms of the whole season, one that I actually don't agree with. I asked you guys what is one thing you would change, and this answer was the overwhelming majority, the loot pool. With blasters confirmed to stay until next season, we have realized that using classic Fortnite guns is banned, and a ton of people aren't happy about it. It's easy to see everyone upset over the fact you can't even use bullets anymore, but I've also seen a ton of people really excited about it because it feels fresh and different. It's a cool experiment, just like Zero Build was back in Chapter 3. But if you're not a fan of Star Wars, it's a lot to deal with. On the bright side, the season is only a month long and there's always other modes to choose instead. What about if you like the fact that we have no bullets, but simply don't like blasters? It's also another huge argument from the fans who say blasters are just straight up overpowered. Despite the fact that literally everybody has them, every fight is turned into a simple question: who shoots first? Pretty fitting for Star Wars, but in Battle Royale, it's not fun to get lasered out of nowhere. Maybe the solution is just picking up a lightsaber and enjoying those instead. Except this has become another hated feature. That's because they're simply not strong enough. I gotta admit, I do agree with you guys on this one. Lightsabers are meant to be the strongest weapon in all of Star Wars. They just don't compete with blasters in Fortnite. You can block shots with them, sure, but then you realize enemies have unlimited ammo and will just wait for you to hit a cooldown. Epic hasn't balanced these to fight against blasters. They were already balanced to fight against normal weapons that had to reload, so the solution is just to make the sabers a little bit more powerful, or at least make them really good at blocking blaster shots. Obviously, I couldn't make this video without talking about that abomination in the Battle Pass though. And I'm not exaggerating, a lot of fans actually do think Wookiee Team Leader is a horrible addition to the game. In a Battle Pass that's meant to lure Star Wars fans to spend money, Epic chose to put some of the best characters in the item shop instead. Like, we've been asking for Mace Windu, Darth Jar Jar, and customizable Mandalorians for years now, and all three of those guys are nowhere near the pass. Instead, spot was taken by a Team Leader reskin, something players are growing tired of. Especially because the very first tier of the pass is yet another reskin. Fans spend money on the pass and they don't even get an actual Star Wars character until they level up. But I will say, Eevee is an example of a mashup skin done well. In any case, disliking a cosmetic could always be subjective. Like, you gotta admit, everyone has their own taste. But there are some problems with Season 3 that are valid feedback. Everyone has pointed out that all of the Star Wars POIs have been shoved into a different corner of the map. And I can see why Epic did this, to give each POI some room to breathe, but it's also resulted in people thinking, you know, this doesn't feel like a Star Wars season. It just feels like the previous map with a couple of bases on it. And thanks to Epic deleting the loot pool, we have seen the amount of mobility items drop from 8 to just 3 ways to get around. In the words of Ninja,
I'm not seeing enough movement.
In fact, they even got rid of parkour mechanics like wall kicking and breaking your fall with a roll, and we have no idea why. Now, I'm gonna try something different. When I make videos like these, everything's inside is based on real fan feedback. For this next one, I decided I have my own problem to nitpick. Epic, why? I'm just trying to get into the Millennium Falcon and it's a decoration. I have never felt so betrayed. All right, back to our regularly scheduled broadcast of what you guys want to change. Number 1 is Captain Phasma, and I gotta admit it was pretty refreshing to see Fortnite give her the attention she finally deserves. In the films, Phasma was hyped up constantly as this cool stormtrooper with a hidden identity, only for them to cast her aside in every single scene. Well, fans were excited to use her in BR, and then realized Fortnite did the exact same thing. They threw Phasma into the Lego Pass and didn't give her anything else. No glider, no pickaxe, or even a backbling. But if they did, they probably would have screwed up the pickaxe. Even storyline fans are demanding a change because they're trying to do the quests only to be confused about how awkward they are. The whole structure of the new challenges is really hard to navigate, and people think it's too much and very messy. Then we have the disaster of Season 3's launch when they falsely advertised in the item shop. For the first hour, you can head into the store and notice they're selling 25 Battle Pass tiers, just like they do every season. So people bought it only to realize they got 10 tiers instead. Fortnite noticed their mistake and rushed to change the text in the shop, so now when you look it says 10. I can also understand why you've been complaining about things that haven't been changed, like Loot Island. This has remained the exact same since the beginning of Chapter 6, and fans are disappointed it's not Star Wars themed. Someone even suggested turning it into Cloud City. Now that's a missed opportunity. And so is vaulting med grenades. There was basically no reason for Epic to get rid of these things, so people think it's because they didn't fit the theme of the season. My response to that is Fortnite should simply turn them into back-to bombs instead. I'm not sure why I'm not on payroll right now, Epic Games, but I could add so much value. Anyways, those are the 25 most hated things in the Star Wars season. If you agree, let me know in the comments. If you disagree, then roast me, I guess. It's been Tommy Cupid here on Top 5 Gaming.